Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. I've got a starter activity here for you about factors. I'd like you to have a go at these questions, and then when you're ready, move on with the video and have a look at the next slide with the answers. And here are your answers. Remember to keep practicing your times tables. It's really important going on into Year 6 that you can recall your times tables really quickly and also very accurately. So today's lesson is to use translation with coordinates, and we will be looking at these types of questions today. Okay, our first key skill will be to identify the coordinates of a vertex following translation, and our second will be to describe the translation from given coordinates. So, can you remember what translation is? Have a quick think and then move on with the video. Just delete the shade. So translation is when a shape moves from one position to another without being rotated or flipped. And you can see shape A has been moved into position B. So let's have a look at key skill 1. This question is asking us to translate each coordinate 2 right and 3 up. Then it's saying, what will the coordinates of each point be after translation? So what should we do first? Well, first of all, we need to translate the shape. Now, you can do that by translating each point 2 right and 3 up. Now, I'm going to do it with the whole shape as it's quite tricky on the computer, so bear with me. I'm going to go 2 right, 1, 2, and then 3 up. 1, 2, 3. Now, the next thing I suggest you do is to label each of the vertices. So when it comes to writing the new coordinates down, you don't get them muddled up. So there's A, B, C, and D. And now all we need to do is to find the coordinates of each. Now I know you're really good at this already, so I will do 2 with you. So A is now in position 6, 9, and B is now in position 8, 9. I'll leave you to carry on with C and D. When you're ready, move on with the video. Okay, again, this time we're translating each coordinate 3 right and 2 up. And then we're being asked to give the coordinates of each of the point after translation. Again, I recommend that you take a point and you move it 3 right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 2 up, and we know where to go. I'm going to do it with the whole shape as it's quite tricky on the computer. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 2 up, 1, 2. And now I'm going to label the vertices. Excuse my writing. There we go. And now we can find the coordinates of each of those points, and I'm going to let you do that, and when you're ready we can move on to the next slide. So on the school website, with the questions and answers for this lesson, I've posed these questions for you so you can have a go on a piece of paper. I'd like you to translate each of the coordinates 3 right, 3 up, and then on the other question 4 left and 3 down, and then I'd like you to tell me what the new coordinates will be of each of those points. When you've done that, please move on to the answers on the next slide. And how did you do? If you made a mistake, try again using a purple pen and see if you can get it right this time. So key skill 2 was to describe the translation from given coordinates. Have a look at this question. Rectangle A, B, C and D is translated, so vertex B has been moved to 310. Describe the translation. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my vertex D at 310. So along the corridor and up the stairs, and that's B there. And I'm just going to label it so I know. Okay, now I can describe the translation. So Here's B's original position, and I go 1, 2, 3 left, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So the translation is 3 left and 4 up. The second part of the question says, what are the coordinates of the other vertices of the translated rectangle? So I'm going to mark those now. So let me just get my points. C is 2 squares below, and D is 2 squares along, and A is 2 squares above. Okay. And I'm going to label each of those so I can be ready to find the coordinates. Okay, and I've already listed the coordinates here. They're the coordinates of the new rectangle. Okay, this time rectangle A, B, C and D is translated, so vertex A is translated to 3, 7. So let's put that in place. Vertex A, 3, 7. There we go. Okay, describe the translation. So we've got 1, 2, 3 left and 1, 2 up. And I've written that here for you. I'm just going to put it in red so you can see it really clearly. Okay. Now it's saying, what are the coordinates of the other vertices? So let's label A. And we're now going to put in the other vertices with my circle so you can see it really clearly. So B is 1 square along. C is 2 down. And D, oops, D is 1 across again. And I'm going to label them. And that's where the rectangle has been translated to. What I'd like you to do now is to give me the coordinates of that translated rectangle. And when you're ready, please move on to the next part of the presentation. So finally, it's your chance to have a go. This should be underneath the last question that you've just attempted. The vertex D is translated to 5, 4. So first of all, I'd like you to describe the translation and then tell me the coordinates of A, B and C. When you're ready, the answers are on the next slide. Okay, how did you do? If you made a mistake, please purple pen and correct your answer. Now ready to begin the work, I'd like you to start with bronze and silver, just like you do in school, and then check your answers. And then when you're ready, move on to the gold question. And moving our learning on, this time it's asking us to translate coordinates, but we don't actually have a grid to use. Can we still answer these questions using our knowledge of coordinates? Well, yes, we can. And that's because we know which coordinate is on our x-axis and which one's on our right axis. So, for example, this one here, we know the 3 is the coordinates from the x-axis. So we need to move that 3 to the left. The 6, because it's a y-axis, will stay exactly the same. It won't move in that case. When we have to go 1 up, the coordinate that's on the x-axis will stay the same, but the y-axis will change. Have a go at those questions and then move on to platinum and emerald. And when you're ready, please mark your answers, correcting any mistakes that you've made, and then be ready to reflect on your learning today. That's the last video lesson for this week.